Right. So then, yeah, let's call this meeting to order
Okay.
at 7:40.
Okay. Minutes for October were really one page. I just sort of attached the reports on because I wrote them anyway, and if we keep minutes down to a minimum, they're a little bit clearer with the reports attached. So I guess one of you could move and the other second, or
the
just,
minutes?
or by
Yep,
consensus, or by consensus is accept them.
Yep,
So that works
accept
for
the
you, Mary? We
minutes.
accept this by consensus?
Yep, we do.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, my reports. Every time I think I've got it figured out how to set up an owl and set up a meeting that somebody wants, there are reasons why it doesn't happen. But if you had a look at the October recreation meeting, you can see how that worked out. Not too badly, I thought. I thought with a joint committee of 12 people plus staff plus people presenting budgets that the budget meetings would be a logical place to have an owl meeting. However, since they look at the budget on paper and they want to have light to see it, and we don't have a humongous monitor to replace the screen and projector. Plus, sometimes they'll have presentations that they want to put on screen for everybody to see. For example, ARPA funds, I think, are going to be talked about tomorrow night. They just decided they would just have as many live people in the room as possible. So I spent a little while this morning rearranging the furniture so that instead of a horseshoe, there's almost a circle so that everybody will be spaced and the microphones are distributed. And we'll see how it works tomorrow night. Building committee has been meeting Thursday mornings at 8:30. I have offered to set it up, and I have instructions for Mrs. Shaw to turn it on, transfer the hosting duties so she can be a host and let people in, but still be out of the room. And Tony has said that's really not necessary, just make it a WebEx meeting, and he does it from his laptop in the room. I don't think anybody else live has been showing up. I don't know what it'll be like tomorrow morning. Nobody's asked for the owl. I do know that the Board of Ed members are anxious about the direction that the building committee will take, because if there's this other move to make sure that the pool gets repaired, will they also have funds taking care of the school building needs that they see? So I think on my report, I had that in parentheses, italics, because I wasn't sure when I wrote it if we were going to cover it or not. But there it is. Meetings half and half are in person and virtual. Nick is really interested in getting an owl meeting started, and he said, why don't they do it? I don't know why they don't. Hoopop wants to have an owl, but the staff member that takes their minutes says, but I don't want to have to host the meeting and take the minutes and take care of the other stuff, and I don't understand why they can't just come in. So I backed off from that. And their meeting went long last Monday too. Anyway, I think people will make use of it. We just have to sort of wait for everybody to sort of settle down and be comfortable with it. So it may end up that our account for WGABT has to be the host. So as we said last month, it all depends on how many people I have available to work on any one meeting. We could put it in, we could have an OWL meeting on WebEx and just record it on WebEx for later and not have to worry about putting it on live on TV or to YouTube. So it would be possible. Anyway, that's what's going on there. Anna is interested in working more in production, so she's working out her transportation to come in. What else can I tell you? Oh, Altice had an interesting letter into Pura and this docket where they're trying to study how community access is funded and why the nonprofits are all losing money and whether they need more. And the industry representatives are all coming down on saying, nobody watches this anymore and we should just change everything and not have to be responsible. The cable company should not have to be responsible for paying for it. I have a link to the Altice comments, which I think I also forwarded to the Cable Advisory Council. So I hope they're paying attention because the councils are participating in this docket too. They just haven't said anything. So I don't know if you have any questions on that. Budget. We still have plenty of money. I did buy the extra laptops and Nancy has one, but has not. I'm hoping she'll catch a special conservation meeting tomorrow while the budget meeting is going on. What else? We still have money to spend. I've got all the connections I need to make the OWL work and to make other things work. But I am getting ahead of my budget line. So last time I calculated on my spreadsheet, I might spend as much as $18,000 instead of $15,000. But I could always call in more help. I hope to spend more of my time just training people on stuff instead of doing things. And that's what I have to say on that.
Anything on the wiring in the gym or that sort of issue?
Wiring in the gym for the internet? I didn't go forward with that yet. I should sit down with Tony Belinsky so she can set it out and talk with not TBNG, Vancord, talk with the IT consultant about that and take it to Tony. I did record the Veterans Day thing, but that was during the day. If we were going to use the Wi-Fi to get it to channel 79, I would have needed another person at the other end to receive the signal. So there was no way to test that. I have streamed live to YouTube from town meetings in Bethany without too much of a hiccup. It is possible that the Wi-Fi signal was really strong. from what I could tell. It is possible we could successfully get it to YouTube and then from YouTube to channel 79 with the Wi-Fi. But I don't know how to test that yet. What else was there? Oh, the new Hypercaster came in, and I filled out forms that Telview now asks for. I think with other people, they've needed to clarify exactly what needs to be prepared for them before they install, but they have not offered me an installation date yet. So that's a bill waiting for. We're waiting for an invoice on that, I guess. Also, they keep emailing me on my personal email, and I have to bounce it back and forth to the work email so I can get it to people. I don't remember any other big projects that we had. If you want to think ahead to a cable advisory grant, maybe we can talk about getting one of those big monitors hung on the wall, and whether, since we can't roll up that screen anymore, whether that's going to work in the main meeting room for an owl, or set up a monitor on top of something else so that you can see people that are coming in virtually, but they're off on another wall somewhere or on another stand. I haven't really thought about that yet.
That sounds, at least to me, like a really good idea, but it might be you want to bounce it off of,
Yep.
and not sure who the right people are of,
Well,
it
Tony,
seems like we should have, okay, I was thinking Tony, but I was wondering if there were
yeah, start with
other
Tim.
folks in terms of dealing with the meetings. And, it seems like if we're looking at doing more stuff hybrid with the owl, etc., or even just for the sake of presentations, it would be good to have a large monitor mounted somewhere and get his thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm. Something with a Bluetooth connection to a laptop, for example, so that you bypass a projector and just sort of cast your presentation to the monitor instead of the screen.
Right.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind when I get a chance. I'll, after budget season, probably bounce that off of Tony.
So, the other part is, from having served on GATA, there's that, and especially in light of what you were just saying about the PUA docket, PURA docket,
Yeah.
Your docket,
Yeah.
The, how we come up with stuff that enhances the experience for people viewing from cable.
Yeah. Well, I thought I think it was the October Selectmen meeting. It did take an extra set of hands, but okay, we had one person on, how did we do that? It involved more people. I mean, if you can set up the owl so it's going there, you don't need to set somebody there. But to do a live broadcast of the selectmen, we needed somebody taking care of the TC1 and the cameras on the wall and the soundboard to make sure the microphones are doing what they should do. but we were able to, okay, did it from the station of the TC1. We had Matt who could do everything. Matt also was able to use the WebEx as an additional camera, but when he was presenting on the problem with the pool, the guy from out of town was presenting, Matt just took that section and put it into the feed on the TC1. So you didn't see the owl with everybody all around, but he saw everybody in the room. He talked to everybody in the room from the owl point of view. And I think the people watching on TV and YouTube got the information they needed. They don't need to see how the owl turns around and around, right? But the WebEx gave them the view that we needed for that presentation.
So
So
it
it
does seem
really
as
took,
if
it took two
it
people.
does, right. It does seem as if this raises some issues that I'm not sure how much the ACM world has addressed, because sort of the old rule for government access was that you broadcast gavel to gavel, and that there was no sort of editing or stuff like that. It was, at least originally, it was kind of based on the assumption that there's a camera and a microphone, and that's what you're getting. Whereas, when you start having multiple cameras and even hybrid, then you've got the potential for editorial choice being made by the operators.
That is also true when it was a single camera. Where's the camera pointing?
Right. Yeah, so I think it just exacerbates that. And I think that's probably not something that we need to deal with, but we need to have in the back of our minds.
Well, I haven't heard of anybody complaining about. Well, okay.
And I don't
would.
think it's an issue that we are likely to have here in Woodbridge. But if your replacement ends up being somebody from Project Veritas, there's an issue.
So what's the
You're
solution?
fading in and out. I didn't hear what you said.
Project Veritas?
Yeah, you're acquainted with Project Veritas, right? They're the folks who produce all of these misleading videos.
Oh,
the
right.
conservative, right? So,
Ironically named Veritas.
yes. Although I'm not sure that they catch the irony of that.
Yeah.
So it seems like something that my thought is that the ACM world should be talking about and coming up with policies a little bit more than the broadcasting gavel to gavel. And how do we make sure that town meetings are properly broadcast?
Okay. Well,
and bringing that up at ACM meetings and then thinking about, somebody has greater ideas than us about it, being able to refine our policies and procedures.
I could pitch a question to the listserv, I guess. And see, I haven't been keeping up with my reading. A lot of them, if they're not worried about diminishing funding, then they just talk about technical stuff. Some of which goes over my head. But it's an interesting question. Um, does pointing the camera constitute? Some people come into a room to watch, even if they can watch it on TV, because we don't catch reactions from across the table all the time. And they want to be there to see that.
Right.
Constitute editorial control. Anyway, I have a draft of a letter to outline my resignation date at the end of this fiscal year. I thought it would be good to. Come on, I've been talking about this for years. I'm going to be 71 years old tomorrow. I drew the line at 70.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I drew the line at 70, and look, I'm still here. So this is really it. If I don't say something, nobody's going to take this seriously. As I said,
the fiscal year as opposed to the end of the calendar year.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought you've been saying end of the calendar year in some.
Yeah, this calendar year.
That's another line that that
but
looks like it's flipping.
But okay, I'll stick around until the end of June, and
Right.
you know, I can be reached by phone by anybody who needs to know. I've been doing this for the registrars in Bethany for years now. You know, if try to remember how to do something, I can try and help and remember. Hoping I do. And you know, I need to help get this house in order, so we're not going to live here forever, and my husband's shouldering most of that, and you know, I just need to get my head into that too. So
Yeah.
so I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, but if there's something something more I should say, something I shouldn't say, I just tried to keep it simple. But I can be available for training my successor and other staff, but I will not be able to continue arranging production of recordings and live streams or scheduling Channel 79. Now, we have to figure out how to pass off all the Google account stuff that goes with WGA-TV. And I think it's a matter of getting somebody else's phone number on the Google account.
Guess you've got the
changing.
authentication.
Yeah. But we'll figure that out before June comes. Anyway, so it's been 19 years as of this month.
Wow.
That's a prime number.
That's a long time.
But if it looks okay, I mean, I've addressed this to you. I can CC and send it to Board of Selectmen and Tony. I don't know what the order of this sort of thing is, but.
So I can't find that message from you. So if you can resend that, that would be
I'll
great.
resend it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will resend.
And then I would suggest that perhaps it's a good one to, after we've looked at it and given feedback, for you to have it just as a discussion with Tony.
Okay.
Right. See if he has any feedback. And then once you've sort of got some feedback from all of us, then give it to the Board of Selectmen. And I think it's important to get this done before we get too far into the budgets.
Well, yeah. I'll see if I can get his attention.
Right.
Yeah, okay. First I'll resend it. Then I'll see if I can grab Tony tomorrow. Operating budget. And we really need to before we can approve that, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I was gonna say. For the budget, I think we have to have the three of us
Yeah.
available for that. I agree.
How about if I put it together the way I did last time, because I mean, I can show you what well, if we trim this here and trim that there, I can show you how it looks when I go online, but um, that's going to be awkward. So there's the 0 increase. I mean, we could plug in the same numbers as last time. That'll be fine. We know that a lot of the overages can be covered by any excess amount that's sitting from the grant amounts. And since the grant can't be used for anything except the cable TV people, I think Cable Advisory Council said, well, we'll fund maybe half of your personnel accounts, half of what you spend on personnel. And, we could do that. I know that Milford was funding their entire thing on their grant, so that when they didn't get their full grant requests, they got all upset. So, well, come on. The town has to put something into it.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to go. You wouldn't want to go that way. That's for sure. You're right.
Yeah, it's because grants won't be here forever, and if Altis had their
Right.
way, there wouldn't be a
Yeah.
grant unless it was at their, something that they got to grant or not grant, rather than have it be imposed by the state, I guess. Do you want me to attempt to make a minus 30% budget, just so we know, or I could go through and try and guess what we spend on all the advisory commissions to produce those?
Sure. I
think
mean,
if
I
that's
think you're the
something you're
one
being-
that would.
Yeah, and if that's something that's
I didn't hear what you said,
being
Alden.
asked for. I was just saying that if that's something that's being asked for, then yeah, we should probably come up with as reasonable a projection of what that would look like.
Okay. I mean, we tried to build this up and cover as much government as possible. And part of that got started when Soundview wanted to close down all the town-specific channels and said all our programming was excessively repetitious. Because we only had for a while it was just selectmen, finance, and education. So if you only have 3 meetings a month and you're playing the same ones over and over again, that indeed does not make any sense. But I think the argument about repetition is over. And the next argument from the cables will be, you don't need these channels at all anyway. That's going to take a while, so we don't have to worry about that yet. Okay, I will scope that out. We know what a 0 increase will be, but a date to look at it again, the best one might be next Wednesday, the December 7th. Is that right? Yeah, December 7th. The Wednesday after that is the Board of Selectmen meeting, and let's see, the third Wednesday is normally inland wetlands. So it's possible to do, but might be a little tricky.
Well, the 14th is out for me. I have
Yeah.
a conflict on the 14th.
Yeah, whatever works for the three of us. So
Yeah.
that work. It works for me. But Teresa is the one who we have to make sure is available.
You want to try for next Wednesday, and I'll see if I can get hold of Teresa and see if we can get her. And then I'll let you know what she says before I post it. And the agenda item would only be the budget. Alternatively, we have until January 6th to submit it. So we could go with first Wednesday in January, I suppose, but that seems like only in an emergency. That would be January 4th.
Alden, are you available? Did you say he was available? I didn't hear.
I think so. I'm not positive.
Okay.
So
Let me see if I can
next
get
one,
Teresa first.
Tuesday is the best, right?
Okay, yeah, why don't you do that, and then then I'm available. It's not a problem for me. So
Okay.
then we can see if Alden is available and if it works, because I'd rather have it, like you
Teresa
said,
too.
I'd rather have it done than not, and
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I had put down for changing meeting priorities. At the time that I wrote it, it was just getting very difficult to chase down police and fire all the time. So my thought at the time was, why not switch police and fire and put economic development and conservation on top, because those seem to be competing ideas in town. Do you want to build up your business, or do you want to make sure open space is open? Because sometimes those are in conflict. But maybe it's not necessary. Especially if we're going to get rid of covering any of the advisory commissions anyway.
right.
After that, I just stuck in other business. I don't know if there was anything I forgot. But if you think of it, we could make sure to add it to the notice for a special meeting. And otherwise, yeah, that's all under next meeting agendas. That's all the business I have for you today.
Okay. Then
Okay, so
entertain a motion to adjourn.
you'll just let us know if Teresa is available, and
Yeah.
we can meet next Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that as soon as I can.
Okay.
Okay. You could adjourn by consensus.
Sounds good.
Okay, we adjourn
Yeah.
by
Okay.
consent.
At 8:21. Thanks, folks. I will be more
Okay.
careful with the WebEx setup next time. And
Okay.
Oh, no.
very good. Thanks a lot.
Okay. No,
Okay,
no, thank
bye.
you. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.